Howdy. I'm going to talk about the mode systems and how I came about this variations, the different variations. First of all, the thing that really helped me a lot was objectifying the major scale, creating a sort of a visual reference for it. Because, I mean, we're looking at the same thing, but we're looking at it from a different perspective, so we do see different things. And that's basically what a mode is looking at something from a different perspective. I mean, you see one view and I see another, and we're describing our view. So when you look at this, like you see, you know, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. But if I look at it, I'm looking at it from here. I guess I see whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. So it's a different view of the same object. So when you objectify it, it becomes a lot clearer what's going on and all the harmonies and the connections of things. Like from this view, I see why that's a minor chord, because it has the flat 3 and it has a 5 right here, and it has a flat 7, so that's why it's a minor 7. You can see it. It's not abstract, it's physical. And it also defines the modes. Like Phrygian is got a flat 2, it's got a flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and that is the definition of Phrygian, basically. So that's how I was able to understand modes and make it very clear in my mind how they work. So then I took this Greek mode system, and I called it the Greek modes because it has Greek words on it, but it really didn't come from the Greeks. It came from the Egyptians. They called it the sound of the spheres, but we call it Greek modes, and we don't read hieroglyphics, so we don't know what the Egyptians called them. But anyway, I created a system to be able to play every chord in the key, whatever mode you're in. So let's say you're in D Phrygian, and this would be D, this would be E flat major 7, so it would be D minor 7, E flat major 7, and F7, G minor 7, and so forth, all the way around. And so it also explains it defines each mode with the intervals, but also I give you the melody line. So if you learn these 5 forms, you know, the G form of the major scale, the E form of the major scale, that kind of thing, and notice how they overlap, then, because that's the same fret, they all overlap each other. This one overlaps by 3 frets here. And then I give you a map that tells you how to mode in. So if you want to lock into a certain mode, you use these same patterns. So you learn 5 patterns on your guitar, you can play every mode in every key on every fret. And that's the one page here. And also you can play every chord in that key too. So you pick a key like I said, D Phrygian, and you can name every chord and play every chord and write a song in every chord, or you can play every melody, you know, every note in that key. So D Phrygian is the mode, but D is the key. So you go to key note, and if that's D, then this dude over here, right? If that's D, that's E, that's F, so that means that's B flat. So B flat, or flat B, would be the lock-in note. That's what I call it. Instead of a key note, it's the lock-in note. It's how you lock in the forms. You move the forms to lock into B flat. So this would be B flat. This would be the 6th fret. So that's 6th fret, 6th fret, 6th fret, and that gives you the notes in D Phrygian. And in this right here would be either, you know, 1st fret here or the 13th fret, right? That's where B flat is on that particular string. And that's how you lock in. So I can get people to play modes within a day if they already know a few scales. That's it. And then they can play every mode in every key on every fret if they know all 5 forms. So what my idea was, well, this is just one underlying pattern. What if I change it? So I took, say, the 2, and I made it flat. So now I have the major scale, but with a flat 2, right? And so then I made a whole system designed around that. I get all these different chords and different harmonies, and they hit your nervous system in a different way. It's not the Greek modes. It's not the major scale. It's a different underlying pattern. It's kind of like changing the DNA of the music. I feel like a geneticist. You know, I'm changing the underlying code that describes everything. And by changing that code, I came up with this different melody possibilities, all these different chord harmonies. You know, there's no minor augmented major 7 in a Greek mode system. You know, but you have it here. You've got a minor 6 and a 7 with a flat 5, and This mode system is not exactly the easiest to write in, but when you feel it, when you finally understand how it should feel, then it becomes much easier. When I first started writing in this mode system, I had a hard time because I have Greek mode sensibilities. That's what I've been trained my whole life. That's what people have been listening to for thousands of years. So this is new, and it's, I couldn't find any scales that actually fit this system. But like this system here, now this is another aspect of this thing. So instead of a flat 2, I did a sharp 2 on this one. So I did every possibility, one step removed from the major scale. And the reason this is called Italian modes is because once I got these patterns and I wrote out, the intervallic definition of it, like, this one has a 1, 2, 3, 4, sharp 5, 6, flat 7. Where I went through is my whole catalog of scales that I was aware of throughout the world. And I found one called Neapolitan that actually fit this particular description. So Neapolitan is an Italian word for, Naples. And so I used a bunch of stuff from around Naples, like Licosa and Mount Vesuvio and Mondragon, stuff like that. So that's why these are called the Italian modes, is because just happen to be Italian. But this is a really easy mode system to write in. It's so easy to write in this mode system. Very fun. But these chord harmonies are whack. You got a minor major 7 in there. You got a 6 with a flat 5. You got an augmented 7. And these are your choices if you want to stay in the key. And then, because it's one step removed from the major scale, if you already know the Greek patterns, it's really not that hard to just change one note. Really, I'm just changing the sharp 2. That's it. But it completely hits your body in a different way. The emotional response is so different. These are fun. Indian modes. Instead of a sharp 2, I have a flat 3. So basically, instead of moving this one up, I move this one down. And what I got with this one is I found a scale called the Hindu mode, or the Hindu scale, and it falls within this particular thing. That's why I call these the Indian modes. These are a lot of fun to play with as well. This one has an augmented major 7, which is a fun chord. It has a lot of majors in it. Well, you've got a minor. I guess it's the same as Greek mode. It's almost the same, yeah. You got 2 diminishes in a row and 2 7th chords in a row. Interesting stuff, how it all works together. Now, Demonian modes was a flat 5. So, diminished chord, flat 5. That's why I chose Demonian. There's a lot of interesting chords in here. And then I've written some songs in this mode system. And you can also play the pentatonics over this system. It fits over this design. Some of like this one has the pentatonics too, the Indian modes, but Elenian modes doesn't. You can't, or Italian modes and Elenian modes, I don't think you can play. The Black Sea modes. Now this is an interesting concept here, so basically all I did with this one is I did a sharp 5. That was the next option. I did a flat 5, now I do a sharp 5. And what I found is there was 2 scales that matched up to that. There was what we call harmonic minor, and also what is usually known as major Phrygian. The Greek mode's major Phrygian has got a flat 3, but when you make it a 3, you'd have to call it major Phrygian, right? Instead of minor, because it has a 3. So anyway, those 2 scales are part of the same system. They have the same underlying pattern. I never knew that. But through this process, it was revealed that was true. And then, so I called this Ankarian, just like natural minors in the Greek mode called Aeolian. This harmonic minor is called Ankarian in the Black Sea modes. Now, I call them Black Sea modes because they sound like they're from the Middle East there, the Black Sea area. And anyway, thought that was interesting. And then Major Phrygian I call Vulgarian. So these are words from around the Black Sea. And I've written some songs. I've written a lot of songs in the Black Sea modes. I really enjoy the Black Sea modes. Corvarian, very empathetic mode system. Everything sounds. These chords make you feel empathetic. It's interesting how the whole system makes you feel that way. But this one is a flat 6, and the reason I call it Corvairian because Chevy made a car called the Corvair, and it had a flat 6 engine. And Ralph Nader killed it by writing a book called Unsafe at Any Speed, and he talked about that particular car. But so he's got, Nadarian, his name's in there sort of, and the rest of the names are people that are the first people that actually heard this system. This didn't have any combination that matched up to any scales that I could find throughout the world. Zestrams has a sharp 6, so that completes the one step removed from the major scale. You can't do any more. That's all there is. So then I started doing 2 steps removed, and I found a scale called the Arabian. It was the Arabian scale, and so I used the Arabian Peninsula to name these mode systems. 2 steps removed. So this system has a flat 2 and a flat 3 as well. And then Persian, that has 2 steps. This is 3 steps removed. It's got flat 2, flat 5, flat 6. So you throw those in there, and you can come up with a Persian mode. So this is all based on Persian names. And Hungarian. Basically, I took a Hungarian scale and I moded it. Took a Gypsy scale and moded it, and come up with all these chord harmonies and all these melody possibilities. And so I used the same system to create all these different mode possibilities, these just exploring possibilities. Of course, there's way more out there. I did all the 1-step removed and a couple 2-step removes, but you could do all the 2-step removes and all the 3-step removes. I mean, that's a big cachet of different scale and different emotional responses to the harmony. Then I thought, well, what if I go 8 notes instead of 7 notes? The major scale is only 7 different notes. So in 8-note scales, you get a lot of possibilities, a lot of variations in your chords. And what I have in each one of these wheels is black letters and then gray. And the gray is the option. Like you can make this first chord either just a major 7 or you can make it an augmented major 7. So you have those options because of that extra note. And so you have the scale with that one note added in there, and you get all these melodic possibilities that you didn't have before, all these chord possibilities you didn't have before. So it really opens the box a bit. And it turns out that there's only 5 possible variations when you go 8-note scales. And that's what I've done here is the 5. And I use the atlas to name these things. That's the hardest part, is finding names for all these. I have to come up with 8 names in an 8-note scale. Anyway, that was how I came about these new mode systems. The idea of moding has been around, and for some reason we only moded the one thing. Why don't we mode everything? Explore all the possibilities. And that's what I did in my journey to playing the guitar. I know that's a mirror image, and that's kind of why it's so weird. I don't really know how to make this not a mirror image. Anyway. Next, I'll play some songs that I wrote in these systems so you can hear and feel the emotional responses.